What's up, YouTube? I think we better discuss the 30 Super Carry a little bit more. We have some good news, but then we have a bunch of stuff to talk about that could be potentially not so good news. Stick around through the whole video. We've got point after point after point. I think you're going to want to hear this. In the meantime, thank you to everybody who's been subscribing, commenting, liking, sharing, all that. We're at 1,000 subscribers. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in another video, what our plans are. So we'll be back for that. In the meantime, let's focus on the 30 Super Carry. So, Smith & Wesson announced that they're going to be definitely chambering the Shield Plus in 30 Super Carry. I'd say that's pretty awesome news. Gives you a couple more rounds in a already plus gun, so now it's even plusier. The Shield is a good firearm. Smith & Wesson is having a couple hiccups right now with a couple other products, but hopefully it's not going to affect the Shield Plus line. I don't know a whole lot about the Shield Plus line, but I do know about the original Shield line. Tried and true, rock hard. That's a great pistol. But with that good news from those sources also comes some pretty crazy news. So the Firearms blog has it listed, and I'll post it right here. In their article, the MSRP from Federal starting out for a box of range ammo is $30. That's nuts. MSRP, that's manufacturer's suggested retail price. That means that the manufacturer is suggesting that we're supposed to pay $30 for a box of 50 target loads. $26 for defensive loads is the MSRP, and that's fine. You're going to pay more for defensive loads, of course, and depending on technology, you're going to pay even more than $26 usually, especially in this market. So that's not the case. But the target ammo, practice ammo, $30 for 50 rounds, that's getting a little bit out there. Now we're talking about, this is just 2 years ago that we used to be able to walk into some of our big box stores and get a box of 50 rounds of 9mm Blazer brass for $8.99, especially around the holidays, sales time. There was rebates going on like crazy. I understand that there was something called the slump, and I understand that the ammo companies weren't exactly doing the greatest financially for themselves at the moment. But keep in mind from a consumer standpoint, 2 years ago I could walk into Wally World before they stopped selling handgun ammo, and I could get a Winchester white box 100 round value pack, and I don't care what anybody says about the quality of Walmart ammo. The bottom line is you could get 100 rounds of 9mm for $13 and tax, but still $13. I mean, it was like buying Pez. So the gun culture did get used to that. We used to buy, 223 ammo. We could get a case delivered with a coupon code of Lake City brass to our door for about $280. So times are changing, I understand that, but to go to an MSRP of $30, they're suggesting that we pay $30 for 50 rounds. That's not good. That shows you what the ammunition industry in general is leaning towards. They haven't had enough of beating up on us yet. And I'm not going to try to beat up on them in this conversation, but we need to talk about the ammo situation. This is getting a little drawn out. It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Now it's still ridiculous, and it doesn't show any sign of letting up. Let's talk about some of the implications of that. First of all, when it comes to this firearm, when you introduce a new firearm to the market, you want to get it out there. You want to get the reputation going around. You want people to like it. You want people to use it. You want to get it in their hands. How are you going to do that if the ammunition is probably not going to be very available, and when it is available, it's not going to be affordable to most people? Are they really going to take this caliber and run with it and put all their money behind it, buy a new firearm, buy a bunch of ammo, buy defensive ammo, when they don't know anything about it other than the fact that it's kind of close to 9mm? Now, I would say if this was a normal market and everything was just fine with the prices, then yeah, you can experiment with a new caliber. That's something that's, people do all the time. But in a market right now where things are so expensive and so many different calibers come and go now, and new firearms designs or new models of firearms come and go so quickly, it's kind of hard to put, throw a whole bunch of money behind anything right now, because you don't know where it's going to go. You don't know what the availability of things are going to be. So it's sometimes the safe route to stay, with what you're familiar with what you can get your hands on, components, ammunition, accessories, whatnot. So with the initial price of the 30 Super Carry being a little bit cost prohibitive compared to what I thought it might have come out at, that does limit it a little bit. I thought this might be a good PCC, pistol caliber carbine cartridge, because you can stuff those couple extra rounds in there. That might be, yeah, you can have rounds that are a little bit, you know, on the lighter side, but they'd still have power factor for competition. I thought that might be a good option, but not if you're going to have to pay that kind of money for ammo. Who's going to want to run that? And as far as a defensive round, I don't know if it's doing much compared to the 9mm. If you go watch the interview, they interviewed Chris Locke from Federal. He's the big guy. And he explained it. It's a good video. You should go watch it. But they explained that they were trying to find middle ground between 380 and 9mm, and what they ended up finding was something just a lot closer to 9mm. They were trying to bridge the gap, and they just found a smaller caliber that's able to do up to about what 9mm can do. Now, that's not talking about, you know, compared to 9mm plus P or anything else. We're talking about low grain weight. We're not talking about super heavy bullets. So is it comparable to a 9mm? Sure, but does it exceed the potential of 9mm? No, it does not. And is it really going to do anything for the 380 market? The feedback initially is no. So what is this a niche for? We talk about cartridges finding their niche. What is the niche for this cartridge? If this cartridge is really only about getting 1 or 2 more rounds in a gun, okay, have at it, guys. Whoever wants to participate in that circus, okay, have at it. But let's see where this cartridge is in 2 years. Because even the terminal performance on gel, it doesn't seem very impressive with this round. And that's self-admittedly, where they showed the gel test through clothing, it gets in there and it penetrates a little bit. It has a decent wound channel, but it's nothing super impressive. But in bare gel, they show that this thing just opens up really quick, and it creates a pretty big initial wound channel with not a whole lot of penetration. Period. You know, for a defensive situation, why would you want to back down your power factor just to add a couple more rounds? Some people say capacity is key. Maybe that's it. Competition, gives you a couple more rounds, but at an extreme cost. And reloading, you want to tailor your hand loads to do whatever you want. That's fine, but there's going to be an extreme cost to that. So, okay, and I found a funny way that this round was described in that interview from Federal. They said that this round appears to be, upon firing, more abrupt, but not as pushy as a 9mm. So let's think about that real quickly. More abrupt, but not as pushy as a 9mm. I don't know what that really means, other than it sounds snappy to me. Snappy. I don't even like the word, but didn't people make fun of 40 caliber for being snappy? Wasn't 40 caliber supposedly causing tennis elbow because it was snappy? And that's why if you ask most people about why they don't like 40 caliber, the immediate words out of their mouth, whether they shoot 40 caliber or not, are, oh, that round's a little too snappy. So again, looking at my notes to make sure I get it correct. More abrupt, but didn't push like a 9mm. What does that mean to you? Comment below. Let us know what you think that means. Translate that to English for us, please. So with this specific cartridge, the 30 Federal Super Carry, they're making it kind of cost prohibitive right out of the gate. So I don't understand the battle plan with that. But as far as all calibers, it's not getting to where it needs to go. We've plateaued. If you watch the ammo prices, which I keep an eye on them quite often, if you watch the ammo prices and what they've done over the past couple of years, we had the worst spike ever, of course, for 9mm 223, and every other caliber you can imagine just did something crazy. $2 a round for 357, things like that. You saw how high 22 went. I'm not trying to beat up on the companies, but I guess I am. I mean, this is kind of going to be a mini rant, but it's a factual rant. What are you doing to the new gun owner? What are you doing to the young couple that just came into the gun shop, bought their first family firearm? They want to train with it. They want to use it. They want to be part of our gun culture. They do fear for their lives sometimes where they live. They need protection. They want to be part of the concealed carry culture. They want to be part of the sporting culture. But what do you do to them when they walk into a gun shop now and they see the prices of everything, and this is considered good compared to what it was? People simply can't afford this sometimes. They can't afford entry level, and even if they do get to entry level, sometimes entry level is so horrible that why would you give them entry level? Some firearms out there are just horrible. Without naming names, we all know some firearms that just should never be produced. They're horrible, terrible defensive options, but that's all people can afford, and then they can barely afford any ammunition to run through them. They can barely afford the firearm itself. Therefore, they're not going to run much training ammunition through it. And then when it comes to defensive ammunition, they're not going to do what they're supposed to do and run multiple magazines and train with the ammo that they're going to fight with. They can barely afford it to begin with. They're going to run a box through it. They're going to call it good. They're going to load up some defensive rounds, maybe, and they're going to call it good. And that's a dangerous situation. What are the companies doing about that? They're not helping the new gun owner. So what does it do to the existing gun owner? Well, I think this is a punch in the gut. It's been going on, for a couple years now. We went through the high price. Now we're at the plateaued price. We like to shoot. We're loyal customers. We own firearms. We need to feed them. But it's a punch in the gut to have to pay some of these prices. I'm lucky that I'm able to reload, and I suggest everybody learns how to reload. It's really not that hard. I'm going to do some videos showing how to do it as long as I don't get in too much trouble on YouTube. I got to figure out the definite rules, but reloading is key. But even that, the companies are controlling the components. The big guys, they control the primers. They might be the ones sucking up, some of the raw materials. They're a bigger buyer. They might be able to get their hands on it, outbid other people for it. I'm not exactly sure how they do business, but the bigger the company, the more control over everything in the market. That's just a no-brainer. But when you used to be able to get a pack of primers for $3, and now this same pack of primers is anywhere from $9 to $12, $13 in some of the retail outlets by us. Go online. I like to think about it in the terms of 1,000. You used to buy 10 of these in a pack of 1,000 of primers, so you get 1,000 primers for $25, $35 at the most. Match primers would be $40, $45 at the most. No matter if it was rifle, pistol, large or small, whatever. The average, I would say, was $25, $30, $35, depending on where you're at, for 1,000 of these. So now the cheapest you can find these online, before shipping and tax, would be $90 for 1,000. Try to find them in your actual stores that are, your smaller shops by you, or even some of your big box stores when they have them. Same thing. We're talking $90. I've seen them up to $150 recently for 1,000. That's insane. So they're controlling things like primers, and then reloaders, when they control the components, they shut us down too. And they know they're doing that. They say that they need it for their own ammunition. Okay, I understand that, but also let Americans be Americans. If we can't buy it, we build it. And if we can't, get the smallest little components to build it, we're stuck. It'd be like needing one little computer chip to make a car start. It's a bunch of crap, really. So this just makes it not affordable for some people. Younger families just starting out, have a new baby, maybe just got married, new apartment, new jobs, all that. They don't have a whole lot of room in their budget for this. So are they going to go unprotected? That's really a shame. Are they not going to train properly and not learn? That's a shame. We got more and more states passing constitutional carry, and that's great. I love that. It's our freedom. We're supposed to do that. But at the same time, that eliminates the need for training in a lot of people. And when you eliminate the need for training, you need to incentivize training so that people seek it on their own. People need safety training. People need to know how to run firearms. It's a little bit, if you watch some videos out there, it's kind of crazy what people don't know, and it's very dangerous. So incentivize people to take classes. So that leads into the next thing. Are the ammo companies, do they not consider what's going on here across the board, including the training companies? Are you trying to put training companies out of business? I know a few trainers in my area, and their numbers are down, and it's because of ammo. People can't get ammo. Of course, last year was crazy, but it's not looking much better for this year. People aren't coming to training classes because they simply cannot afford the ammo. So, they're not getting the training, and what are you doing to training companies? We had 1 million firearms training companies spring up all across the country, and that's a good thing. A lot of people are out there spreading their knowledge, spreading what they've learned, teaching it to other people. It's a lot of good stuff, but they're going to go under. They're not able to sustain. A lot of them were right on the edge last year. They can't, year after year, you can't keep it up. You got to have your student numbers up there. People have to be able to bring ammunition to class. We're not doing this with laser trainers, so it's an entire industry. Right there, just the trainers. Now, move on over to the gun shops. Are we still trying to kill the mom and pop gun shop? We all get upset about what happens with big retailers. We all get upset when we're, forced to buy things online, and then we're threatened maybe to not be able to buy things online in the future. But right now, the way it is, the local gun shop, I see them struggling by me when it comes to ammo. Some of them. Some of them are doing better than others, but they can't buy ammo at a decent price. They can't pass it on at a decent price. And your average person isn't going to walk in there and buy it for an exorbitant amount of money. Hunting season just came through. There's a lot of people that just didn't take their kids hunting this year. They just couldn't afford this. If you have a 444 Marlin, you're not, you're spending $5 a round if you can find it. How many zero shots are you taking? Are you really teaching your grandson or your son to go shoot that 444 right now? Nope, that thing's a wall hanger at the moment. It's not much better in the shotgun world. Even 20 gauge. I just saw a couple months ago at the start of gun season, 5 slugs. Now, yes, they were some of the nicer ones, but 5 slugs, $50 for 20 gauge. So if you let your kids sight in a gun with 5 shots and then you give them 5 to take hunting, you just had to give your kid $100 worth of ammo to take for deer? That's kind of nuts. Let's move on to the sporting shells for shotgun. Trap. My son does trap. The price of ammunition for sporting shells for just your basic Dove and Clay target loads, we used to be able to go, again, to Wally World and get a 100-round value pack for $19, $20, $21. I just saw, and I think if I can find it, I'll put a picture up. I just saw at Walmart a week ago, the 20 gauge 100 round packs, those are $39 now. So more than double in price. And that's Walmart. So basic number 8 and number 7 shot shells to shoot trap with, go online right now and you're going to pay for 250 rounds, you're going to pay approximately $150. That's just not fair. That used to be $4 per 50 rounds, $5 per 50 rounds everywhere you went. It's just, you can't even let your kid do trap. And that's a good group of kids, trust me. Now, of course, every time I say something about you can or you can't because of economics, there's going to be a group of people out there that of course they can. They can afford it, and good, you're lucky. There's others that can't. My son still does trap, of course. I'm making sacrifices to allow him to play a sport. But it hurts. It's not like it used to be. It just doesn't make it as fun. I can't participate with him as much. I'm not going to go on Saturday morning trap practice, and I'm not going to go next to him and shoot 100 rounds when he's already shooting 100 rounds. I'm going to let him shoot his 100, and that's it. We're done. What does it do to your average, family who just wants to go in the backyard and teach their kids gun safety with 22s? That's even becoming expensive. That's hard to even find 22 ammunition still, and when you find it, it's expensive. The price is inflated. You're probably not even going to find what you want. But just going out in the backyard with your kid to shoot a 22 for the past couple of years, it's just become ridiculous. Now, no pun intended, but I really think that these companies are just shooting themselves in the foot. I think long term, they're going to hurt. I understand raw material. I understand supply and demand. I understand increased labor costs. I understand that there's a lot going into this, but still, they're controlling the market, and I'm not going to cite my actual source, but I had a conversation via email with one of the larger online sellers of ammo that supply all of us, and we get their email all the time. I was very surprised by the honesty in the conversation. This was just a couple months ago, and I had mentioned what's going on. I talked about a lot of the things we're talking about right now. I had a lot of questions about the long-term effect of this and how it's affecting people getting into the sport and maybe pushing people out of the sport. The response I got was very candid, very honest. I couldn't believe it. Basically, what I was told was that the industry has suffered long enough. Supposedly, this particular company had taken a major loss over the past couple of years trying to supply us with ammo, they said, trying to keep their employees employed. And they said that it's about time that they started making some money. It was a clear admission that they're making money on the distributor level, the manufacturer level, the wholesaler level, and unfortunately, who gets hurt is the retailer gets hurt and the consumer gets hurt. Some of your online gun stores, they're able to purchase in such bulk that they're able to still make their profit margins, and they're going to make it, but not the little guys. So the real big guys, and that's one of them that I was talking to. He basically said it's about time, and they hope it keeps up because We need to pay the real price that we need to pay for ammunition. And I disagree with that. And it was really sad to hear that. And I believe that that's how they honestly feel. I'm not sure if every wholesaler, distributor, manufacturer feels like that. But when you go onto Federal's website and you see some of the prices, when you go onto CCI's website and you see some of the prices, you'll see what they want to charge you for ammunition. It's not a joke. It's not just a temporary thing. This is the new normal with ammunition. This is what they want to set. Now, when these companies, they talk about how much their cost has increased, well, I can understand that. Raw material cost has gone up. But these companies are also expanding out. They talk about their new facilities. They're moving all over the place. They're doing things to increase their line. And on top of that, they're coming out with things like 30 Super Carry. They're coming out with new calibers, cartridges all the time. And, you know, right now specifically, they need to focus, and this is the general consensus with a lot of us, is that they need to focus on getting us up to speed on the ammo that we need already. 9mm 223, you know how it is. It's the calibers that we need. Get the shotgun shell prices back down. Why are you dedicating entire lines to these kind of things? Why are you dedicating so much resource to something like this? We need you to get the prices back down to normal. This is not the new normal, guys. Hopefully. We should not expect companies to charge us this kind of money, and they should not expect us to pay this kind of money. This has been going on for too long. You still can't find some calibers near me. Wheel gun calibers, it's insane. You can't find them, and this has been going on for 2 years now. We need to work on that, guys. So we're seeing that this is becoming a rich man's sport, and that's not good. So we talked about the family not being able to train. The individual is not going to be able to train. So your skills are going to start to fade away. It's a perishable skill. Shooting is a perishable skill. What does that mean for law enforcement? Law enforcement has to pay for ammunition too. Or are they getting special contracts? Are the suppliers giving them, or the manufacturers, are they giving them special discounts so that they can pay for it? I know a lot of police departments that are smaller, they don't have a training ammunition budget. So if they are getting a huge discount, well, then that stinks, because why can you afford to give them a huge discount, but we have to pay this rock solid high prices? And if you're not giving them a discount, then this is going to affect police training. We're in a situation right now where in this country, police are under scrutiny for, bullets not going where they're supposed to go sometimes. We need more training. Why would you do anything to get in the way of training anybody, including police officers? Some departments, they have huge budgets. Some departments, they don't have any budget. Really. A lot of officers I know, they have to go train on their own time, pay for their own classes and their own ammunition. So they're in the exact same boat. I know police officers right now that cannot afford ammunition to train, other than their minimum training. That's not good. What does this do to bringing a new friend over? Hey, you want to come learn how to shoot? Hey, you want to try out this firearm? Maybe you'll like it. What does it do to that? You're not going to... Let's be honest, if it's super expensive, are we going to want to share our ammo with our friends all the time, especially when we have to train them up and they're actually going to be wasting half of our rounds? We want to share this experience with people. We want to bring people into the gun world, but it's cost prohibitive. What does this do to Friday date night, where you're trying to get your significant other into firearms? Maybe you've already worked on it. You were starting before the whole stuff happened, where we couldn't go to ranges and things like that. What happened to that? It used to be more affordable to go to the range, take a couple boxes of ammo, go to the range for an hour, and that used to be more affordable than going out to dinner. Now it's more affordable to go back out to dinner again. Come on, guys. And we haven't even talked about the foreign ammo ban yet, so that hasn't even really hurt us too badly yet. When the news first dropped, yeah, there was a spike in price. That quickly reset itself, but we haven't seen the effects of it yet. The ammo's still coming through. What happens when that dries up? We're getting into monopoly territory where, the companies here, they have it on lockdown. That's a significant chunk of the market that's going to be locked out and sitting there across the ocean, not here, providing cheaper ammo options for us in the United States. So I think the bottom line with the ammo is enough is enough. It's time for some relief. You can't keep kicking the can down the road. You can't keep trying to drag every single drip of profit out of this that you can. Don't let the whole, thing about don't let a good problem go to waste. Don't let that be a reality for you guys and for us that we have to deal with. I think enough is enough. Quit beating us up. Let's get the prices down a little bit. Let's figure it out. And truthfully, consumers, they get hip to this pretty quick. they're not going to support, the companies that are doing this to them for much longer, I don't think. You're not going to have people rewarding bad behavior. They're going to figure out workarounds. They're going to go with other options. Somebody's going to spring up and try to help this situation out. So on the individual level, I don't know. How long are we going to keep rewarding bad behavior? How long are we going to keep taking it? I have no idea.